For the kingdom of heaven is like a man on a mission to acquire an island and transform it into paradise for his guests. He envisioned a selective group of elite guests to accompany him on his island. The island is all-inclusive with the best resort amenities from his experiences around the world. He gathered a few affluent families from different parts of the world to enjoy paradise with him. But something was missing. He left the island and traveled to the city in search of more guests to invite to paradise. The people who agreed to accompany him were of a lower class than his current guests. Their appreciation for the invitation warmed his heart with gratitude. He knew this decision would bring warmth to the island, and the land would now be filled with laughter. When they arrived at paradise, he excitedly announced, "The island is now open to the public." They were offered the same access to the island amenities as the first guest. The upper-class guests did not appreciate this unexpected change. From their point of view, the island was expected to be exclusive to the affluent families. They knew that with this new change of the island being open to the public, they would now have to share the amenities with the lower class. They felt it would be impossible to relax and enjoy Paradise Island fully if they had to coexist next to people they would normally hire as the help. This was their time away from the world to be set apart. They wanted exclusivity apart from his new lower-class guests. Collectively, they came up with a plan and began to be rude to the new guest. They wanted to make them uncomfortable so they would leave, resulting in them going back to the original vision for Paradise Island. They began to make faces at the guests and scoffed at them in passing. They escalated their tactics by calling them names like low-class and streetwalkers. The owner heard of their unwelcoming behavior and gathered all the guests together to express his new vision of inclusiveness over exclusiveness, and he wouldn't change his mind that now Paradise Island is open to everyone equally. The affluent guests disagreed. They gathered multiple guests to go to the owner's suite in order to complain about their disapproval of the new changes to the island. The owner remained calm despite being ambushed by his guests. With authority in his voice, he stated,
"Not one of you was with me when I searched and found this island. Where were your checks when it was time to purchase it? Which building did you help build? Show me the employee that you pay. You all have come to me with the same entitlement that caused me to open the island to the public. Even in paradise you are miserable. It was my vision that went into developing this island that you're so desperate to reclaim. You are all here under your own free will, free of charge, and at any moment, free to go."
They were embarrassed and felt ashamed of their behavior towards the owner and his guests. The walk back to their rooms felt long. No one spoke, but all knew they needed to change. Paradise Island was now a place welcome to all races and social classes, characterized by love and not judgment, with people who care most for its weakest member, that stands for justice and righteousness in a world enamored with selfishness and decadence, a place in which members compete for the privilege of serving one another. This is the vision of what the kingdom of heaven is like. The meaning of this parable is equality seen through God's eyes. It shows that when God calls different people at different times in life, He is still offering the same grace and blessings to those who answer the call. It also shows what adjustments we need on our own lenses that led us to believe we were made differently. It shows us God as the authority figure, who has the final say, and a view of the bigger picture. He sees what we can't see, and knows what we don't know. His vision is past our own understanding. So if you don't do anything else, trust God's plan. Its personal impact on me was to know that everything I see and touch is borrowed. Everything from the houses on the street, the money in my account, the skin on my body, and the light in the sky belongs to God. So who am I to question Him on how He moves? I am extremely grateful to be called by Him and to walk this journey with Him, knowing him as understanding and yet firm. I love that he sees and loves me through everything on my journey with him. I chose to recreate this parable because it shows how the Jews under the old laws of Moses reacted to Jesus, when he brought in a new way of understanding God's vision for his people. They didn't want to accept that everything they learned to please God in the past would now be in vain in the future. It was shocking to learn that their once exclusive promise was now open to the world, and all of this was coming from a man they were unfamiliar with. And yet, when you hear him speak, your heart hears him more than your ears, and you come into agreement with him, because you would love to serve a God that will sacrifice his own innocent son to forgive you for your sins that you made in the world. We still have work to do in our time as we are still corrupt. Thank God we have a teacher who walks with us daily. Jesus is still teaching us today because his words will never die.